Sure. So my first published arrangement was an arrangement of My Immortal by Evanescence. And I arranged that for One Voice, my a cappella group here at Briarcrest, in 2012. And that was pretty early on for us. We had used other people's arrangements until that time, and we were recording an album. And so when you record an album, one of the rights that you get when you pay your royalties, when you pay those mechanical licenses, is the ability to arrange that for your ensemble. So I decided that I was going to try that with My Immortal, and turned out really working really well for the group. I started by looking at the members that I had in the group and their vocal ranges, and actually arranging the piece for them. And then once I had done that, I made some tweaks after we read through it the first few times, and then that became the arrangement that we recorded on the album. It actually didn't get published until 2015, I believe it was, by Alfred. And I find that tends to be pretty normal in the publishing world. I've done a few published arrangements, but most of the work that I do is actually compositions, original compositions for choir or handbells or other ensembles like that. So that's how My Immortal came to be. That's how it was my first arrangement. It's pretty transcriptive, to be honest. You asked about my procedure for it. I really just listened to the original and made modifications from what I heard in the instruments to change them into vocal elements. And then of course you have things like the solo and the harmony. Those are easy to add in from there. And I didn't do too much that's that different in that arrangement. It's mostly open vowels and a few like slight harmonic changes, but it's mostly just like open vowels. We call those pads in the arranging world, and then the solo and the harmony, and then the vocal percussion, of course, and then our bass. So it sounds a lot like the original song, just with voices. Now, not all of my arrangements are like that. We on the originality scale, if you had a scale from 1 to 10, and 1 was completely transcriptive, like it literally, note for note, chord for chord, sounds exactly like the original song, then I would call that a 1. If it's a 10, it means that it in some way resembles the original song, like maybe the lyrics are the same, maybe the music is the same, but something is very, very different. That makes it almost a completely new piece in itself. So, on that 1 to 10 scale, that first arrangement of My Immortal was probably something like a 3 or a 4. There are various types of licenses that you have to get for different purposes. So for this purpose, this was for an album. And so for a recorded album, whether it's going to be released on a compact disc or on something like Spotify or iTunes, anything that's audio, recorded audio, you have what's called a mechanical license. And that mechanical license is actually, it's also called a compulsory license because it is U.S. law that you are allowed to do this. It's compulsory in that no one can tell you can't do it. You just have to. You don't have to use an agency like a Harry Fox if you don't want to. You could just write to the people who own the publishing rights and say, I am making 500 CDs of this song, and here are the compulsory license fees for that. The compulsory license is the same regardless of what the song is. If it's under 5 minutes long, and that's 9 cents per song per album. So the way that would work for maybe you make a 10-song album, that would mean that 90 cents of that album you're going to pay in royalties to the original copyright holders. So that's what we paid for My Immortal. Part of and I referred to this, and we can put this in the show notes or wherever else you have this, but there is a certain part of that U.S. code that allows for you, if you are recording and you are paying those mechanical licensing fees, you have the right to make a derivative arrangement of that piece as long as it maintains the original character of the song. So that means you can't completely change it. It means you can't turn it into something that sounds nothing like it. It means you can't mash it up with other songs or turn it into a medley. But by paying those mechanical licenses, you have the sort of the sub license or the additional right to arrange. So that works really well for us because we record almost everything that we sing in my Group 1 voice. So that's that type of license. It's important to know that there are other types of licenses, and this is where I think teachers get very confused. And I have a document that outlines this that I'd be happy to share with your viewers as well. So a lot of teachers make videos, and if you're gonna make a video of something and put it out anywhere, you're supposed to have what's called a sync license. A sync license gives you the right to take an audio and sync it up to a video. I find that this is the right or the license that's the least used because people don't know better. And frankly, while mechanical licenses are really easy to get, to record, there are a number of ways to do it. You can go to, the service I use now is called DistroKid, like distrokid.com. Very, very easy to use. There are other ones. There's one called Loudr, LOUDR.com. Also very easy. The one that's been around forever is Harry Fox. And all of those, there are many more than that. But they make it really easy to get those compulsory licenses. The problem with sync licenses is there's no set U.S. law for what those sync licenses cost. So for each time you want to make something like a music video, you have to negotiate directly with that person or that company that owns the rights. So that's really difficult, and they acknowledge that. So what they're doing now is YouTube, for example, has billions and billions of minutes of video on it. And the publishers that own all the rights to these compositions, they made a deal with Google, who owns YouTube. And so now, when you upload something that's a video that should require a sync license, they apply video advertisements to your YouTube video, and then they pay sort of a licensing fee to the original copyright holders. So it's an agreement that they came to so that everybody was fairly recompensated for their work. There are other sites that people use to upload videos as well, Vimeo, but Vimeo does not have that same blanket agreement with publishers that YouTube has. And I also know that Facebook, which is a huge live video competitor now to YouTube, they have been in the works with publishers for a long time to try to negotiate those sync licenses or those blanket sync licenses so that anyone who uploads original material, it will do the same thing. The algorithm will automatically detect, that it's this song by this artist and it's owned by this company, and then they'll apply advertisement to it, and then the money collected from that advertisement will go directly to the copyright holders. So Facebook does not have that yet. But with the amount of video that is coming on to Facebook, I've been told that that's in the works and should be there very soon. So you have your sync licenses for video, you have your mechanical licenses for audio. There are other licenses though as well. So if you're not writing something for an album, then you have to have what's called an arrangement license. And an arrangement license is literally the permission to take that original composition and arrange it for your ensemble. And this is regardless of if you're going to sell it or not. It's just the right to arrange it. And I find that a lot of people don't do this. for similar reasons, the sync license, right? It's very difficult. There's no compulsory law for it that says it should cost this amount. It's whatever the publisher says it will cost, and it takes a lot of time to do that. There is a company called Trisona who tends to do a lot of these arrangement licenses, and the arrangement licenses cost somewhere between $300 and maybe $600 from what I've heard, to have an arrangement license done on Trisona. And so, that's another type of license that you have to get to arrange something for your group. I should point out there's an interesting new development in licensing, and that is in the acquisition of Sheet Music Plus by Howe Leonard. Howe Leonard, of course, is the world's biggest sheet music publisher, and they also own the print rights to a large portion of popular music. And so they purchased Sheet Music Plus about a year ago, and when they purchased Sheet Music Plus, they created a program where 1,000 songs, 1,000 pop songs, very popular songs throughout history, are available to arrange. And you pay, I think you get 20% of it as the arranger, and then they automatically pay the copyright owners for that. Now, some people have said to me when this Arrange Me program came out, people like myself, Deke Sharon, we were really excited about it because it gave an easy way for us to arrange and put new music out there for groups to use. And some people said, well, 20%. I mean, if you're only getting 20% on that, it seems like a huge percentage that you're losing. But if you think about it, compared to paying $300 to $600 up front for just the right to arrange it. So this is replacing that arrangement license, right? This is you being able to legally publish your arrangement. Not only write it, but publish it and sell it through Sheet Music Plus. So it's really a game changer. And if your song is on that list of 1,000 songs, then you're good to go. You can upload it to Sheet Music Plus, and then you can collect that 20% royalty. Something else to keep in mind about that royalty percentage is that let's take that My Immortal arrangement that I have published by Alfred. I get 5% on that, and that's normal. I mean, that's not like a low percentage. It's not like Alfred's trying to cheat me or anything. That's completely normal for the percentage of an arrangement like this. So 5% compared to 20%, well, the 20% is quite a bit more. The thing that arrangers need to keep in mind, though, is that no one's going to promote your music when you upload it to a site like Sheet Music Plus. You still have to be your own marketer and promoter. Whereas if you get something published by somebody like an Alfred or a Howe Leonard, they're going to put it in catalogs, they're going to promote it through sites like JW Pepper, and they're going to get it out to your potential audience. So hopefully that gives an overview of the basic types of licenses. There are more, but those are the ones that choral directors and arrangers are going to deal with the most. The arrangements that I've done for pop music, I've really only done a couple of them, and they are all published through Alfred. Everything else that I've arranged has been either public domain, things like Christmas carols, or something else entirely. So that's it for me. I do have a few pieces that are now with that Arrange Me program with Sheet Music Plus that I've put on, but that's pretty much it. I don't unfortunately get to arrange that much anymore because I'm just so busy with everything else that I'm doing with my job. But that's the main way that I do it. So for that Macy's All School Acapella Challenge, Macy's directly negotiated with the copyright holder for I Want You Back, the Jackson 5 song, so that people could arrange it for their groups and that they could make the videos and upload them. So Macy's handled all of that on the front end. They basically paid a blanket license to those copyright holders, and that gave us and anybody else that entered that competition the rights to arrange and then record a video for it. We don't actually teach music business per se at Briarcrest, although in One Voice and our sister ensemble Soundscape, which is the commercial music and jazz band, we do involve the students, in the business portion of it. We teach them about things like social media and marketing and, gig management, all the things that you need to know to sort of build yourself as an artist. And then, we have a technical production program as well. So I'm sitting in the studio right now, the video studio, which is connected to the audio studio, and we have a number of students who learn how to do all of that side of the industry as well. So there's nothing that's called music business, but a lot of courses that integrate all of those elements. I know I've sent a number of students to Belmont in Nashville, and they have a good blend of contemporary and classical music. Right here at MTSU, actually, Middle Tennessee State University, they have a huge music business and commercial music program as well. I know that University of Southern California, USC, has a good combination of both of those things. And then, it's definitely more of the commercial side, but Berklee College of Music in Boston is one of the best known schools in the world for contemporary music. So those are the first ones that come off the top of my head. I'm sure I'll think of more as soon as the interview is done, and I apologize if I've forgotten some really obvious ones. April 27th and 28th, 2018, we are hosting the 4th Annual National Acapella Convention right here at Briarcrest in Memphis, Tennessee. It's a jam-packed weekend full of concerts. We've got Italian supergroup Cluster coming all the way from Italy. They're incredible. They're probably worth the trip by themselves. We've got up-and-coming group Vocalite, which is they've all stemmed out of high school a cappella groups in the Ohio area. Some of my good friends and colleagues were their directors as well. They're going to be our Friday night headliners. We have my group One Voice is the host group, and then all day long on Saturday, students and directors are in classes and they're learning about things like vocal percussion and recording and live video and group management and social media, all kinds of things that will help them and their group take what they're doing to the next level. So we have all of that, and it's basically just one really, really full weekend jam-packed with all of that concert stuff, all of the classes. We've got an exhibit hall, a cappella exhibit hall with vendors. We have networking opportunities for teachers. We also have a high school and collegiate competition, and the winners of each of those competitions will win $5,000 in cash, along with professionally produced videos and just all kinds of things to help, again, transform their groups. So that's the National Acapella Convention. It's April 27th and 28th. Right here in Memphis, Tennessee. The website is acapellaconvention.com. But if you have an acapella group, please look into this. It's well worth it. I should point out that the godfather of acapella himself, Deke Sharon, is also going to be at the acapella convention. But if you have any questions about arranging, please feel free to reach out to me, email me. I'd be happy to answer those for you.